Hello, this is Mrs. Wiggins with a few reminders for your scientific scenario. Please remember, number one, that the question that you pose based on the scenario needs to be scientific and specific. So it means it needs to be a question that you could actually design an experiment to test. So make sure that your question is testable. Secondly, make sure you know that your hypothesis should be an answer to your question and needs to include some sort of a why. So what do you think the answer to the question is, and what makes you think that? And it can be based on your past experience. I also want you to remember you need to list and identify your manipulating and your responding variables. So remember, the manipulated variable is that part of the experiment that we're changing, and then the responding variable is the variable that changes because of the manipulated variable. So for example, when you're watching TV, you're manipulating the remote control, and as a consequence of that, your TV changes. Also, please remember that controls, you must be listing the controls, and they're the parts of the experiment that need to stay the same in order to make sure that the outcome of the experiment is accurate. To make sure that you're testing fairly, you need to make sure that certain parts of the experiment are controlled or stay the same. So make sure you are listing what must be controlled. Lastly, remember that the data is what you're gathering when you perform your experiment. So what are you going to look at to decide whether or not your hypothesis is true or false? And my picture here is a clue on what I think you might want to look at as data for your experiment. All right, good luck.